There we go. All right, you guys. Well, happy 2022. I always get a little nervous saying that because I feel like I'm going to say 2021 and then have to correct myself. It's always how the first month of the new year rolls. But I'm just, number one, so proud of you guys for being on here. Kicking off the first Monday of the year with, to me, what's going to set you guys up for the rest of the year, because it's hard to move in a direction without having direction to go, right? And so I woke up actually on New Year's Day, and I just had this gut feeling of what we needed to do. And I put all my thoughts into this paper that you guys all have. Hopefully you have this PDF in hand. And it's just been so cool getting to just hear messages from many of you guys, even other leaders that I get to link arms with, whether we work on the same team or we're just sidelines, to just say, wow, this is great. This is what we need. And so this is what we're going to dive into tonight is really road mapping 2022, but we have to also not just look at where we're going, but we also have to look back at where we've come from, what we've been able to accomplish. Now, I do understand that many of you guys are, sitting at different seasons in different places. And I would actually love to just know how long many of you guys have been here in Q. I'm assuming many of you guys are in that, 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, 6 month, 12-month window. That's usually just how this business rolls. Some of you guys might be sitting at that in between that 1 to 2 years. Let's see, Janelle, 4 months, 2 weeks. Brian, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, early, like some of you guys might be super early into your business. Others, let's see, mostly brand spanking new. You guys are amazing. There's Casey, 3 weeks, 6 months, 1 year. All right. Well, good. I know there's others on the call who've been here with Q maybe a year, between that 1 to 2 year marks. And then there's some real OGs who we're closing in March. Actually, February 24th will be our 3rd year here. I know Bridget, I think, is coming up on our 4th year here. So it's just crazy. Is that Kirsten? I'm so excited to see you on here. This is awesome. This call really got everyone here. So good. So there we have newbies, we have some veterans. And so let me actually screen share so we can all be kind of working through this. I hope you guys have this document in hand, because that's really what we're going to be working from tonight. If you don't have it, grab a piece of paper and fill it in as if you were writing in the document. And if there's parts that you guys haven't been able to truly be able to complete before the call, you can always go back, because some of them will require some sort of maybe even a report center. And so looking at the reflection side, now knowing how new many of you guys are, some of this is probably not even going to apply. But the reason why I wanted to put this on here, and just to backtrack a little bit on my background, yes, I've been with Q Sciences going on almost 3 years, but my real background's in business, and that's in traditional business. Ben and I have owned our own gym for 8 years, and there's been leading indicators that we track on a monthly basis that let us really get a gauge of if our business is healthy or if it's not, because it's not what we're sitting in right now, but it's always about 90 days. Like your results are a result of what you did about 90 days prior. And so looking at these kind of reflection stats, rank I put at the top because that's honestly the lagging indicator of all of this. Your rank follows what starts really at the 2 bottom tiers of enrollments and also promotions. So I hope these are things that we can really start tracking as we get into 2022. But I want you guys to fill in, what was your highest rank, in 2021? What was your December rank? What was your highest volume in all of 2021? And if you go into your back office, there's under business resources, you can actually see volume tracking, and you can look at your total and by leg. And even though each leg isn't named, you can hopefully maybe get an idea of what each line of business is referring to. And then your December volume, because December is really the building block of what we're building off of coming into the new year, right? So what was your highest? What was your December? Now, personal enrollments, and this is all of 2021. So the way that I went back and looked at this, I don't know if there's actually a report to do this. And as far as looking at my own in the report center, but I actually went to my visual tree and I looked at the enrollment tree and I just clicked on the bubbles knowing who I brought in this year, because they're actually in chronological order. And I put a number down for both PAs. And then I toggled down to show customers and counted my PC enrollments. So those are personal enrollments. Then I put down my own personals for December, but then also looking at the whole year. And if you guys haven't used the report center, or maybe you don't have access to it because you don't have the Pro Business Suite, someone in your support team could very well help you with this. But knowing your total team enrollments and even knowing your December enrollments, these are going to be key pieces to be able to not only reflect, but say, okay, what kind of run rate is my business at? And so just know that if this part kind of goes, oh my gosh, she's talking another language, don't get overwhelmed, because many of you probably don't even have a highest rank. You don't even, your business volume is just getting started. So it might be a few hundred here or there. And that's the beauty of this. But having these seeds planted from the beginning of saying, okay, for my business to be in growth, we should have some new enrollments. We should have some new customers. We should have, as far as, we should be personally being able to bring someone into the business. And even if you might be like myself in the very, very beginning of coming to Q, I didn't have the skill set of recruiting ambassadors or being able to really acquire customers seamlessly. It was a skill set that I've learned over time. So just know that even some of these, if you're brand new, are going to be learned. And that's going to be by showing up to trainings like this. It's going to be showing up to some of your weekly trainings that you're doing with your leadership. Super Saturdays. I know that we have an ambassador boot camp where in a 2-hour window, there's going to be lots of topics for all seasons of businesses. And then, of course, outside of what we do within our teams, we have the Silver Summits, and then the corporate events like Ignite that is just around the corner, which I will say, I hope, and I know we have some Aussies on here, which is a little bit more tricky with the international travel and just the side of things. I'm hopeful that there might be something locally happening there. But for those of you who can get to an event, get to it. And if you haven't even thought about getting a ticket, like, let's talk offline. And even if you're not on my team, let's chat, because it's that important. I don't even know if Ben and I would still be here, let alone have the business that we have today, if we didn't get ourselves to our first event within our first 6 months here in the business. Because any type of business, especially one like this, it's going to test you, and to be able to go to the source and meet the people and find our belief is how we stick around for the long haul. So events, guys, get your ticket if you haven't. And I'll make sure to mention that at the end because it's that important. Now, if you don't have that, go back to reports and fill that part in. But really, then we're going to dive into that why segment. We want to take a fresh look at what can this business do for you and your family in the next 12 months. Now, everyone's is going to be a little different, especially now knowing that there's so many newbies, because your why is probably still the same why you wrote down a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. But I want you to think realistically, because sometimes we can think big scale, like, oh, this could bring me home, or this could take me away from my 9 to 5. This could retire my spouse. This could take those big family trips. But truly, what could this do in the next 12 months? Because that's really going to be these small, tangible, real life goals that's going to motivate us to action. Because let's be honest, most of us, including myself, are probably doing this part-time on the side of family and careers and all these things that are buying for our time. But if we have a clear cut drive behind why we're here and what we're doing here with Q Sciences, I'm telling you, all of you will be able to find the couple hours, whether it be an hour a day or a few hours a week or 10 hours a week, whatever your goal is, the time you put in is always going to be the time that you get out. And so write that down if you haven't. And if you have some whys and you are open to sharing them, I love collaborating in the chat boxes. Drop what some of those whys are going to be, because it might get someone's gears turning of what this could do for them this year. Now, I'll even share a few of mine with you guys, because as we're now, pushing into our third year, Ben and I have started to be able to put together some dream funds with our FFM coach. And so we have a dream of being able to redo our backyard and make it what we've always talked about it being. So that's one of those things that if we can achieve the goals that we have written out, we could fund our backyard renovation. I know my big drive all along has always been, and it's still very much the same, being able to impact my parents' retirement. And so with reaching some of our big goals this year, I know that we would be able to contribute to some of that and expedite that process and take some of that financial stress off of family members that are obviously very important to us. Look, we got Disney trips, have a purpose other than mom life. I feel you on that. Purchase a piece of land. Let's see, be able to travel more and spend more time saying yes. I love that. There's another ambassador on this call, and she didn't even realize it's that phrase, being able to be that yes mom, right? We have our kids that want to be a part of activities and do all these things, but it usually comes at a cost. So to be able to say yes more, I love that. Replace counseling income and go part-time. Choose your clients. Pay off debt, pay off cars. Guys, I love reading these, and keep them rolling, because I'm going to go back to this chat box and take a look. What's actually really cool about that one, Elise, if this gives you a little bit of inspiration, because of this business, and we're just in different seasons, right? At about my 1.5 year mark, I got to offload all my nutrition clients. I got to buy a lot of my time back. Now I get to choose my clients, which I actually haven't chosen to take on anyone. But it's given me so much more time with Colton and Ben. And we just pinch ourselves, thinking about the flexibility to be able to truly make our schedule and choose when we want to hang out and choose when we want to take trips. So I love that. I love that. So defining your why is always going to be just that drive behind your business and having that clear. And it's going to, evolve over the months. And then knowing what your why is what's going to allow you to also set some goals for this year. And so when you're looking at your 2020 goals, I put 2 different boxes here for a couple reasons. Because one, I want you guys to set a SMART goal, a goal that you're like, gosh, I could crush that. And I know that achieving that would impact that why. I know it would move the needle of being able to do X, Y, Z, because the way that we win in anything in life, whether it be your fitness, whether it be business, whether it be finance, I'm sure if you guys are working with the FFM team, it's not about how much you save. It's just the habit of saving, even if it starts with $1. Wins compound on top of each other. So I want you guys to set a SMART goal, but really looking at a 12-month window, not saying, well, this is my SMART goal, and I know I can crush it in the next 60 days, but set a goal that you think, gosh, in my gut, I know I can do this. And then I want you to write a goal, if you haven't already. I want you to write a goal that feels a little crazy, like a goal that you go, ooh, it kind of gives you the chills a little bit, thinking about what if that really happened? What would that do for some of those big audacious goals? Because guys, I'll be honest, this next year, thinking about as we move into that company momentum season and the company quadrupling, I want you guys to think about what would your business be at if it quadrupled right now? And if that's not at a minimum your crazy goal, we got to dream a little bit bigger. Seriously, I want all of you guys to be able to capture your Q real estate around this world, because the timing is now. And all those cities and states, and many of them weren't even repeats, as you guys were talking about where you live. You guys can be that pioneer in your backyard and that pioneer in your city. And I hope you see yourselves as that. So please dream a little bit, get a little crazy here. And then I want you guys to fill in a goal for personal enrollments. Because if you guys know anything about any type of business, whether it be Q or anything else, we set the run rate for our growth. We have to learn how to enroll someone and bring in a customer. We have to learn how to enroll a business partner. It's a skill set. It's the A's, B's, and C's. And like I said in the beginning, some of us don't come into this business knowing how to do that, and that's fine. But I promise you, with the mentorship and the caliber of leadership I know is even just sitting on this call tonight, that and we are here to teach you how to do that. So set a goal for yourself, personal enrollments. And this is, I want you guys to think, what's that word that Kelly uses? Screened. That's it. I want you to think screened ambassadors, not just like paying people to enroll into your business, or, incentivizing the sale or the sign up. No, I want you to think, if you could bring on 10 quality enrolled ambassadors, what would that do? If you could bring on 2, if you could bring on 5, look at what you did in this last year and times it by 2. Stretch your goal a little bit, but have a goal of how many people, and maybe it's 1 a month, bringing in 1 ambassador, 2 a month. So it'd be 12 or 24, or 3 would be 36. But have a consistent goal, because what we go and what we're going to go into here on the action piece, and it is, if this is being done consistently and it's proven, many of us work with David Bird and Jenny Greer. It's part of that achievement system, that through these income producing activities and the way we fill our funnel, you will start to see consistent enrollments month over month if you're doing consistency in the action. So put a personal enrollment goal. And then I want you guys to look at that, even that realistic goal that you're like, in my gut, I can do this. What are you going to do in the next 90 days? Because that's 1/4 of this year. So take your big goal, your big realistic goal, and at a minimum, divide it into a quarter. So divide it by a 4th, and be able to say where my business ended in December. My goal is to get to, so it might be, say you're a bronze, like that, or say your goal is to be a bronze by the end of the year. That is your, like, in my gut, I know I can do that, 10,000 in volume. But you ended this last month as a pro or an executive. So looking at the quarter of the 10,000, it would be at about 2,500 to 3,000, I would say, in the next 90 days. So you would crush through executive and actually be very close to elite by the end of the 90 days. So I want you guys to even be thinking beyond a rank title, because there's some in-betweens between ranks of volume that we can chip away at, where then, bam, now we hit that pay increase. So even put, not, if you're kind of an in-between, put your volume, not just the rank that you're going to be at that 90 days. And that's really what we're going to be focusing in between this January, February, March. Now, those of you who've been here long enough, there's some magic that can happen around convention. And if we're putting in the action now when we run into the event, and all of you guys are, 97 of you showing up on this call tonight, by putting the action now, running into the event with momentum, running out of the event, guys, this is where we start to work our business smart. There is magic in what happens at convention. We have a very smart corporate staff and ownership team who know how to build momentum on a company level that can even impact the growth of our business. And so looking at those 90 days, you guys might say, okay, my quarter, if I can go quarter to my goal, you might be at 50% by the end of your 90 days because of what this event is going to do. And that is why I will emphasize again, getting to the event is that important. So 90-day goal, what would that, as far as achieving that goal, do for you guys? How would you feel? I want you to attach an emotion to that accomplishment. And I want you to think back to a positive season. And this is something I've learned from Jenny Gear. Think back to a positive season where you've, yes, and fill in the chat box as I'm kind of asking these questions, because I love seeing the collaboration. But think back to a time where you felt that you accomplished something that you went, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do that. But think back to that season and attach that feeling, because I know some of us, including myself, I've had a lot of growth over the last couple of years of really believing in what I could do and really believing in what I could create here with Q. I've won in other areas of my life, but can I truly win here? And you start to, it's almost like a mind game. You have to trick yourself into attaching the feeling to something you felt before, tied to your Q business, to start to build your confidence. So I want you guys to write in, how will you feel when you accomplish elite, executive, bronze, builder, pro? All of those matter, guys. These are the building blocks to our business. And be crystal clear with that. And so love it. Keep those comments pulling. Okay. So now that we've reflected, we've set goals, we have a why, we even have an emotion tied to what we're about to create. This is where the rubber meets the road. There is no shortcut to this business, guys, except the action. And I know many of us, including myself, coming into this business, I was not confident in being able to do this. But as you have the repetitions, I even like to think about fitness. I don't know if any of you guys are in the Rise Challenge. We're all on day 3. Some of us might have a little bit of sore muscles or chugging their water. My shaker's actually leaking. So every time I drink, I get like a small shower around here. But it's like drinking more water. My body is not conditioned to drinking the amount of water that I used to. So I'm like running to the bathroom all day long, or maybe, hitting an extra 10 minutes or pushing a resistance on my Peloton. My legs hurt a little bit today. The conditioning comes through the action. And that's exactly how this business works. And if you guys are looking at this and seeing the action page, it's very much like the launch documents that we work off of when we start our business. And some of you guys are very, very well versed to it being brand new, but I want you to look at this action page and think of it as your action page, either on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, where you can, because let me actually kind of work a little bit backwards on this, because if you truly, this is network marketing, it's the beauty of it. We can network our business to anyone. If you're shaking hands and meeting people, whether it be in person in our cities or even digitally, like that's the craziness. And I saw Muriel pop on here. She's taught me so much about how to just meet people and be a real human to others online. Instagram. Actually, Hannah Naveen is on here. I met her on Instagram. It's the beauty of that platform where you can shake a hand and be a real person and make a friend and actually get to know someone pretty darn quickly because of your stories and your posts and relatability on certain topics. So shake hands on the regular. Make this a part of your daily rhythm, your weekly rhythm. Shake a hand, introduce yourself, get to know someone, and invest in them. Because if you truly are creating new relationships, guess what those funnel into? Those funnel into your network, your master list. These are people that you know, they know you, you know them. And as we're continuing to expand our network and just grow roots to our network, doesn't mean we have to be BFFs and be having these long-winded conversations all the time. But it's just this warmth of connection of like, oh, they're a real person. They're legit. I like their vibe, because your vibe will attract your tribe. But having your master list of who you know, Because when you are pouring into your master list and actually having like a warm connection to that relationship, the action, guys, on a consistent basis is actually pretty darn simple, because we're not asking you to be a salesperson at all. We actually don't want you to be a salesperson. We're just asking you to share, and we're asking you to pique interest and just get the information out. Because as you all have probably seen, when someone takes a look at Q, they truly get in where they fit in. If they align with a product, they ask questions around a product. And many people are looking, that's how we found this company. We were looking for natural solutions, and I come from the health and wellness space. I had not found things that could impact my husband's pain, sleep, and mental health. So when I heard those words, I said, tell me more. When someone takes a look and they go, oh my gosh, people are making money. Maybe this could help me pay off my Christmas credit card. Maybe this could help pay for our family vacation. Maybe this could actually help us get out of the stronghold of debt that's just weighing us down and keeping us up at night. We allow people the simple invitation to take a look, even as simple as a 15-minute overview, because we believe you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. They just have to take a look, and they have to know who you're working with, because it's about people at the end of the day. So if you're building those relationships, have a master list, this hot 20 list are the people that you have your warmest connections with. You've built a sense of rapport to where you're not this like spammy, scammy, network marketer, cold messaging strangers. No, it's a simple like, hey, oh my gosh, I know we've been talking for a few weeks. But I realized I haven't been able to share about my business that I've had my hands on for a little bit. My husband and I have been building it for the last few years. It's pretty new globally. It's in health and wellness, and we're working with some brilliant business minds. I would love for you to take a look. You might know someone who could align with my business. Guys, like, that's how simple it has to be. And all we're saying is, please take a look. I value your time. And when you can start checking off the 20 people that you have here of just expose, and be like have this be a part of your lifestyle, have this be a part of your rhythm, emotions out, action in, you're going to start to see the funneling effect of people of interest, like people who take a look. And then you have this beautiful little box right here, and it's called Class A prospects. This is the people who take a look, who go, this is interesting. What's this financial freedom movement? What is this product? What is this ability to make an income? And you put them on this list. Your Class A prospects are your most recent exposures that have expressed interest. They didn't express interest 6 months ago or 12 months ago, and like on that witness protection program, like MIA, won't respond to you. No, those don't count. But if they're truly fresh with a 90-day, 60-day timestamp, and they're truly interested, like they've said, oh, this is interesting. You haven't decided they could be interested. No, they've told you, oh, this is interesting. You put them on this Class A prospect list. Because what I've learned through those amazing coaches, Jenny Greer and David Bird, is that if you have about 10, actually not about, if you have 10 Class A prospects by the middle of the month, now remember that's got a 60-day timestamp on it. So it's been about a month and a half, 2 months to that middle of the month mark. You should enroll half of them by the end of the month. You fill that funnel, and these are your focus for follow-ups. These are the people that you're either looking at your newest people to invite, or you're looking at your Class A prospects who need another exposure. Because let's be honest, not many people sign up on their first exposure. It's a process. Recruiting is a process. It's not a singular event. People don't just hop on a Zoom and like jump on your link 20 minutes later. So trust the process. And some of you might even be thinking like, oh my gosh, really? Yes, if people aren't signing up on their first exposure, that's normal. It usually takes 3, 4, 5, and I believe 8 is actually that magic number, about 8 connections and 8 contacts. So if you go, okay, let's go, invite someone to an event, they take a look. Maybe they need, oh, tell me more about that compensation plan. They get a comp plan video. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, let me pop some product in the mail for you. I want you to get your hands on some of those things that you just mentioned, whether they are samples or full products. We invest in people. Now they're trying things. Then it's like, oh my gosh, there's actually someone you need to meet. That's how we do that third party connection. There's someone you need to meet, and you introduce to a similar story or background to then show, oh, this is who we do business with. Guys, those are all the points and contacts to where then you pop out, bink, an enrollment, or bink, a customer. Because they actually have belief in what we have, and they go, oh my gosh, I'd be crazy not to try this, or I'd be crazy not to do this. And they actually are jumping into their business with belief and trust in the process. So just know these Class A prospects is really what we should be hyper focusing on, not the yes, the no, the maybe so, or even the number of exposures we're doing. Because if you can really, and I know there's only 9 boxes here because I'm a little OCD and I couldn't fit a 10th. So I was like 9, plus you have some notes here. But if you can have this, like, because everyone's going to have to work through a different quantity of numbers to get quality, actual, actual like verified, like Class A prospects. But if you're focusing on, if I can get 10, or maybe you're like, I'm not even there yet, if I can just work to get five Class A prospects, and that's your hyper focus for the follow-up and the sampling and the this and the that, you will pop out enrollments, consistent enrollments. And if you had that goal of 10 enrollments or 12 enrollments, your goal's 1 a month. So you can kind of see how this is building in. Yeah, even 1, go get them, go get 1 Class A prospect. So as we're looking at this, guys, this is our action sheet. And so this is what I really want to get into, and get into the action piece together. We want to identify events. And you may actually have some opportunity calls on your calendar for this week. And I even like to look into like a 7 to 10 day window versus just like a 7-day window. But let's look at the next 7 to 10 days. What events can we actually invite into? Taking your hot 20, the people you have a warm connection with, that we can invite into to take a look at your business. So if you don't have events, personally, I'm going to give you some because that's what I came prepared for. So tomorrow, I'm actually doing 2 calls this week. I'm doing one that's a little bit more Pacific time timed focused tomorrow. It's going to be 7:30 Pacific time tomorrow night. I'll pop actually all of these with the Zoom ID in the chat, so that way you guys can just screenshot it and nothing's like mixed up. Because we'll get into the action together, but just write down that first time. It's 7:30 Pacific, which ends up being a little late Eastern, 10:30 Eastern. The next one is going to be on Thursday. So that's going to be pretty convenient across all time zones. So 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. That's going to be on Thursday. So we can invite into even a call tomorrow, or we can invite into Thursday. And then I know Alyssa and Sean are doing an event Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 7 Eastern. And for all you Aussies, that's actually going to be Saturday morning, which is pretty convenient. Hopefully not too early, depending on what part of the country you live in, because I know it's a lot of land, a lot of time zones to cover. So those are going to be times to invite into. There we go. Bridget, thank you. And then the in-person event, we have an event here in Boise happening on the 15th. So that's my in-person event that I'm like, okay. And that's even my little kind of reminder too of where I'm going to be intentionally building rapport of like what demographic. If I know I have a big event in my backyard, I'm going to be connecting with more people who are in my backyard and local. Hint, hint, we're heading to Utah next month. If you guys know people in Utah, or you know people in Salt Lake City, you know people in Park City, or even within a few hours, that would maybe be a good idea to even filter your friends, which I found a hack on how to do it. You have to like block your city, change your city, and you can actually filter who's in your, I think your hometown. Like it's not as easy to filter your friends, but filter where people are living, kind of figure out, who even is in your network in those cities, and say hello, be a human. Hey, how's your holidays? Happy New Year. It's been 5 years. It's been 10 years. Build, just shake a hand and see how the conversation goes, because you might build rapport real fast. And next thing you know, you're inviting them to an event online that then they end up showing up to convention as a guest or as a new ambassador. So think about in-person events. Now, if you're in Denver, I know there's an event this weekend on the 8th. If you're in Paris, Europe, it's never too late. It's not over until it's over. There's an event on the 8th. You could travel to that. I believe it's the 15th as well. There's a Nashville event, or maybe the Nashville event's on the 8th. Look in the back office. So there's an event in Nashville as well. Oh, hey, Europe. So put your in-person event, or maybe you're going to host something in your own home where you're going to gather a few people and you're going to press and play a video, or have someone zoom in. I've zoomed in for some of you guys, or you're just going to be brave and just share your experience with Q and have a leader zoom in and cast some vision and share their testimonial. There's no fancy way to do it, because it doesn't matter what you say. You can never say the wrong thing to the right person. Just plan it. Put the date on your calendar. So fill in those events, because that's going to be our focus. Now, I hope you have some people written down in your warmest market. And with many of you guys being so new, this should be easy to fill in, because you may or may not have exposed a ton of people to your business just yet. So looking at your list, I'm going to help you guys get into the action next. And I truly want you to do this with me, because I promise you, if you get off this Zoom and you're like, oh, I'll just write down what she says and I'll make these invites after the call, you won't. It's a lot harder when we try and take the action alone. That's why I love power hours. So if your team does power hours, like put them in your calendar and show up. It's way better together, because right now your excitement's high, your fear's a lot lower. All of a sudden we get by yourself and we overthink it. That's why when I was in the beginning of my business, I would actually make invites in front of my husband. And you guys might think I'm crazy, but I would sit there, whether it be a phone call or a voice message, and I would like say it 50 times out loud. And Ben's like, you're crazy. Just pick up the phone and press the button and say it to them. And then I would do it. And then I would be like, oh my gosh, thank goodness that's over. Because really, you guys might think I'm like extroverted. I'm a lot more introverted than most people think. It took me a long time to figure out the skill set and get the confidence of even just saying it. So it's way easier to do it side by side or with someone chilling next to you, like my husband, just saying, you got it, just go for it. You have nothing to lose. So that's me in your corner saying, you got nothing to lose. Let's do it. So looking at your list, it's 10 and 10. Let's look at, say, your first 5, because we don't need to go 0 to 1,000. Your first 5 people. How do you communicate with them on the regular? Are they phone call people? Are they text message people? Are they people you connect on social media? You're not going to change how you connect with them, because that's when it feels weird. So I want you to think, okay, how do I talk to them? Okay, this is my friend Sarah. We text, or I could even like read you my list here. So Eunice, she's someone that I've met locally. We recently started texting. I got her phone number at an event. And so Eunice would be someone that I would text. Jade, she's someone that I connect with on social media, but I recently got her phone number, but I'd probably reach out to her on social media. I have a Kristen. She's someone that I reconnected with in November, December on social media, Facebook Messenger. So I use Facebook Messenger. Mariah, she's an Instagram friend. I would message her on Instagram. So you guys kind of get the point. So think about how you communicate with them. Don't change it. But we want to start with, because assuming these are people that really don't know a whole lot, we want to just qualify their time first. If you go in for the invite, sometimes they can read it and go, this is kind of weird, ghost. But if you just lead with curiosity and urgency and excitement, I'm telling you, that will be the strongest thing that you lead your business with. And if there's one person, and I don't even know if she's on here, Julie Ross in Canada. I swear that's exactly how she went from 0 to 1,000 when she started, was excitement and urgency. She is one of the most exciting people to talk to. She just, the way her energy, everything about her just makes you go, oh, tell me more. I'm telling you guys, excitement and urgency is everything. So looking at those first 5 people, I want you to send a message, and you don't have to voice note this one if you don't want to, but we're just going to send out that initial message. And it's going to say, hey, Happy New Year. Hope you had a great holidays, whatever you want to say to kind of greet first. And then we're just going to qualify their time. Hey, I know this is random, because when you say it's random, it's not. Hey, I know this is random. I know it's been a minute. Hope you had a great New Year. What are you doing tomorrow at 7 o'clock Pacific? Qualify the time for one of those events. The 7:30 Pacific tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific tomorrow, 5:30 Pacific Thursday, and then 4 p.m. Pacific Friday. If you don't have events, those are your events that you're going to use. What are you doing? I know this is random. What are you doing X day at X time? Are you available for about 25 minutes? Send. Next person. We're going to say the same thing. Assuming these are people that you have a warm connection with. This is why building rapport and bringing people into your funnel. There's one from Bridget. Hey, Happy New Year. Hope all is well. I know this is random. What are you doing? Are you able to repeat? Warm connection. Exactly. And then
it's me typing you.
Oh, you're just repeating me. I love it.
I'm your court reporter.
Well, you're rocking it. Okay. So, your first 5. I want you guys to send out that message to your first 5. And when you've sent 5 messages, I want you to pop in the chat and say, like, done, 5, play, pause, repeat. Who's going to go for it? Who's going to send those first 5 messages? And I promise you, the second message isn't going to be weird. So you're going to be really glad you did the action here on the call. Yep, say done. Randy, oh, there she is. I've already reached out to 15 today for the product expo. Perfect. Yes, some of you guys have access to a product expo right now. That would be a great event to be able to invite into. Perfect, perfect. So Brandy got a reply. We'll talk about the reply here next. So Liz said she feels like everyone she's contacted says, sorry, not interested, and she's run out of people. So Liz, this is where I would say, what are your interests? Like, what are things that you love? And I know you're into CrossFit, just like me, a girl after my own heart. I would be very intentional online and in person to bring new people into your network. And honestly, CrossFitters make great prospects here with Cube because our products are relatable, but there's something about a CrossFitter that's just willing to do something a little different. They have a competitive edge. They're people who love their comfort zone stretched. We're a weird breed. So Liz, I would be focusing on this page. New relationships. Who can you bring into your network and who can you get to know? Grab a coffee. I actually have a coffee Zoom date with an Instagram stranger. We have a lot in common. She's a businesswoman. We've connected. I said, why don't we just hop on Zoom and have a coffee date? I'd love to get to know you and your story. She's like, I would love that. And it's truly genuine because guys, like Q's not going to be for everyone, but there's other aspects of who we are as people that can add value. Like when you extend value to people, I promise you value always follows you back. So get to know people. That's what I would say for you, Liz. Let's see. Janelle's got everyone in the product expo. Let's see. So Brandy, they said, I'm not doing anything. Why? Anitra, yay. Okay, so Anitra has 5. So perfect, Whitney. So just touching on that question, that's when I would look at, who is in your network, and I would just get to know people. I would find reasons to shake hands or be social, and that bring people into your warm market. I know Ben and I this last year, we've did a lot of travel for Q and built outside of our backyard. So guess what we've done every single holiday this year, because it takes time to refoster a network and get to know people, because it takes time and trust. Every holiday we've intentionally hosted something at our house, just social gathering, and we've invited people that we would have never thought of, because it's not like our go-to friends and family. We've invited a few other couples, neighbors, friends of friends, where I'm like, oh, they were cool. Let's. So it's just expanding and bringing people into your warm market, but it's going to require intentionality, and the action side of things. So that's what I would do. And then Liz, as far as, I would invite into that Saturday morning, or use a recording, and I'll speak to how to use a recording. Yep, that's right, Jill. Okay, well, I'm going to speak to, so Brandy had a response. Let's find that response. It said, oh, I'm doing nothing. Why? What's up? It was something like that. So what you want to say, because you're going to have 3 responses. It's when you ask someone what they're doing, it's either I'm free, I'm not free, what's up, I could be free. Like, you're going to get a response, and whether it's a yes, a no, a maybe so, it's going to be the same thing. And this is where I do want to challenge you in a voice text, because I'm telling you, people will lean into your excitement. And it might take a few times to practice. And I don't want you to be like, if you're not like off the wall, like, energetic, don't like fake it. But I want you to elevate your energy and be standing when you're doing this voice text, because I'm telling you, energy is felt. It's not necessarily heard, it's felt. So I would then say, Brandy got a message, I'm not sure what I have going on. Why? What's up? That's when I would invite with 3 key pieces. So I would say, check this out. So I'll tell you the 3 pieces, and then I'll tell you what I would say. So we want to announce that we've started a business, because no business is ever going to work if it's a secret. So I've started a business. I'm excited. So we want to convey your excitement, and I would love for you to take a look. Like, those are the 3 pieces that we want, and you can really construct how you would say it. So in my words, I would say something like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, check this out. And I'm voice messaging this. Check this out. And maybe I'll just use Brandy as an example. Brandy, that's awesome. Check this out. I know I haven't been able to fill you in on this just yet, but Ben and I, we're expanding some business. We're so excited for what this year is going to bring. And as we're really getting things rocking and rolling, I would love for you to be one of the first. So I want you to take a look. I'd love for you to be one of the first to get your eyes and ears on this and really see what we're doing. Because if it's not for you, you may know someone who may align with our business. Can I steal 25 minutes of your time and jump on a call with me? That's one way to say it. Another way that you can kind of say it, you could even keep it short and sweet. You could just say, hey, check this out. I'm so excited. I've started a business. We're working on some really big things. I would love for you to be one of the first to see what I'm doing, but also meet who I'm working with. I value our friendship and would just love your support. Ding, ding, ding. It doesn't really matter what you say, but your voice is going to be everything. And I'm telling you, with that level of excitement and urgency, I'm working on big things. I would love for you to be the first. People take a look. And I still say that. I tell people I want them to be the first because not everyone knows about you. Even almost 3 years in, I still say, hey, I'd love for you to be one of the first to take a look. And then the response is either going to be like, yeah, I can totally do that. Or if it was a no, I can't, then I ask, when are you most available? Really simple question. When are you most available? Because then you're going to simply make a little note. If someone's like, oh, I'm most available on Saturday, and you're not sitting in Australia knowing that there's a call that Saturday morning, I would then go, oh, okay, well, there's no call. You could set up a call and have someone other than you on your team present. Like, that's one thing. One of the reasons why we encourage all people to learn how to present. So that way you could do like a small call with 2 or 3 guests or 2 guests, a presenter, makes it real intimate. Or you could say, okay, dang it. Well, as far as timeframes go, I know you're busy, I'm busy. What if we do this? So I tell people, what if we do this? What if I sent you a 15-minute recording? Would you have time between now and Saturday to take a look at it? And then we can chat on Saturday at 9 o'clock. Would that work for you? Oh, heck yeah, I can watch a 15-minute video before Saturday. I would love to chat on Saturday about it. Done. So that's where, Liz, you could use recordings, set up the recording, qualify that they have time to look at it. And before you send it, you schedule when you're going to follow up with them, when you're going to hop on the phone with them, when you're going to connect, and at least just say, thanks for taking a look. I know the follow-up is where the nerves kind of get in. It's like, what do I say? All I ask people is, hey, what did you like? And then let them talk, because the tool did the communicating. They know what the information was about, and they'll tell you. I'm telling you, what did you like? That's all I ask people. What did you like? And they talk about the hemp or the terpenes or the collagen or money, or they're like, my mom needs this. She's in so much pain. My kids need this. Is there something that can help my kid focus? Are people really making an extra $2,000 a month? Because if that's true, this would change my life. So if the events don't work, invite to a recording. And a lot of those Class A prospects and people who are in those local markets and those events, that's really where that in-person event can naturally funnel to, because the interest is there. Then it's like, oh gosh, you got to meet these people. You got to come try products in person. You got to experience this in real life. Now, let's see here. So that was your first 5 people. We want to then make the invites to your next 5. So I'm not going to let you guys get off the hook without us at least getting the initial message sent out to all 20 on here, or the people that you have written down. So looking at your next 5, we'll go a couple minutes over the hour. But seriously, I want you guys to say, how do you talk to them? And then we send that first message. Hey, Happy New Year. I know this is so random. What are you doing? X day at X time. Are you free for about 25 minutes? So Beth, someone said, I work late tomorrow night. So that's when I would say, well, what about Thursday? How does Thursday at 5:30 Pacific sound to you? Does that work better? So that's when I'd offer the next event. Nice job. Another 5 messages out. Yeah, so I will make sure before I log off, I will post, I have them written down here. I'm going to type them up real fast. And I'll make sure that you guys have them. Oh, good. See, this is how we do this. power hours, essentially. That's what we're in. We're in the action piece. So send those next 5 messages out. Greg, I'm trying to find your question. Oh, there it is. Yes, actually, there's one on Wednesday. So I'll send that to you, Greg. Wednesday at 9 GMT with a Ruby ambassador in the UK, Stephen and Joanna Porter. They're amazing. So that's the beauty, guys. And I mentioned those 3 events in our Boise event and those 3 others. This is where, number 1, just plugging into communication. And that was actually a tip that Mark Wilson said on the CEO call. Just going to pull up my notes from that. He said 4 things. Communication. If you just plugged into like the lives, like the corporate live, like that was your thing, there's always like little events that are announced. But then even staying on top of that, you might go, oh, I have someone in Ireland. Is there someone? Reach out to your support team. Your silvers, your golds, your platinums. We try and collaborate as the leaders across the entire company as much as possible to just serve, to just provide value. And so Steve Porter popped that in a message a couple of days ago. I saved it because I was like, I have a gut feeling about this one, and here we are. So yeah, we try and stay up to date with, what's happening. But then also there's always room to be able to have those small meet and greet Zooms, with your leadership and within your team. So yeah, communication. And Mark Wilson did mention convention too. Let's see, what time is tomorrow's again? So Hannah, that, and I'm assuming, actually I can't see the last name. So if that's Pacific time at 7:30 Pacific, 8:30 Mountain. That's tomorrow. Oh, perfect. I thought it was, I was like, wait, I was going to say Mountain time. I was like, but there is another Hannah. So Brandy, did you get a response back? I'm just curious because I know that you had gotten that second message out.
Yeah, I did. She responded.
What did she say?
I sent a voice message actually. So I was doing that. Sorry, I muted you for a little bit. So I kind of missed it a little bit. But she just responded and she said, congrats, how exciting. Yeah, I can definitely join. What kind of business is it?
Boom. Okay. So Brandy used her voice. She said, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. What kind of business is this? Guys, 9 out of 10 times, no one's going to ask you what company you're with. They're going to ask you what business. And that's when I just say, look, it's in health and wellness. I can't wait for you to see everything.
So she works at my chiropractor's office and we've become really good friends because she asked me, like, she knows I babysit a lot, and she asked me about if I had any families that she could babysit for. So, yeah.
Perfect. See, Brandy shook a new hand. She built a new relationship. She added value by being like, oh, maybe I can connect you to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's like, oh, this is so random. Would you be available? And the girl's like, I don't know, maybe. And she's now like, oh yeah, what kind of business? And knowing that she is in chiropractic, I would even say, look, it's in health and wellness. It's right up your alley.
Yeah.
And I might even say, knowing she's in chiropractic, I might even say it's in holistic health and wellness. It's right up your alley. I can't wait to show you everything.
Yeah.
And I love adding that last phrase. I can't wait to show you everything on Tuesday. I can't wait to show you everything on Thursday. It like literally squashes all other questions because it's kind of like, okay, I'll see everything. Because otherwise they may go, holistic health. What kind of holistic health? No, funnel the excitement, because the best thing you can do is have someone show up to a call with genuine curiosity. Like genuine, like, okay, she said holistic health. I'm into holistic health, but what does that mean? And then they get to take an honest and open look. So Beth, that's when I would say, look, you're busy, I'm busy. What if we did this? What if I sent you a 15-minute video? Actually, you may have not even like gotten to that invite just yet. So this is where I would voice note her, Beth. And I would say, no worries, you're busy, I'm busy, but I'm actually really excited. I'm expanding some business and I would love for you to be one of the first to get your eyes and ears on this. You may know someone, it may not be for you, but you may know someone who could align with what we're doing. So since we're busy, and that's when I transition. So since we're both busy, what if I sent you a short 15-minute overview? Would you have time today or tomorrow? I always like to work in this 24 to 48 hour window. Would you be available today or tomorrow to take a listen, take a look and a listen? And when she says, oh yeah, I could make some time today or tomorrow, then that's when I would pick a time to follow up. So I might say, okay, well then let's chat Tuesday night when you get back off work, or let's chat Wednesday night when you get off work. I would just love to hear your thoughts. So you make the invite, but then you say, hey, well, how about this? Are you free? What's your schedule to take a look at a 15-minute video? And then we can chat on Wednesday night. Simple, simple. So perfect. So Lauren asks, how would you suggest inviting to the Products Expo? So we have a little Product Expo for our team this week. So Lauren, I would probably, since we're not necessarily qualifying time, I might just say you would have to lead a little bit more with that initial invite. So if I was inviting you, Lola, I would say something like, hey, oh my gosh, Happy New Year. Loved all the videos of Jones and Avery. Just love your family. But check this out. I can't believe I haven't been able to share this with you just yet. You know, Ben and I have expanded some business. We're actually hosting a really special event online for a couple days this week, and it's pretty flexible. But I would love for you to actually see what we're doing. We're making some big moves in health and wellness. And if it's not something that's for you, because it's truly a showcase of what we have going on, if it's not for you, you may know someone who could align with it. But you might even like win some cool things because we're doing a ton of fun giveaways. You know, is it something that, you know, you would want to participate in and just kind of like, you know, poke around over the next handful of days at your own pace? Boom. Thanks, Bridget. You can go back to the recording and listen to that. But yeah, it's all about just asking people to take a look, using your voice, being genuine, being excited. I actually really like to take the pressure off a lot, because I think with more people going into this industry and unfortunately exposing poorly, I think a lot of people have some PTSD. Like a lot of people have their walls up. A lot of people are tired of feeling sold. So that's why I just say, look, I just want you to take a look. If it's not for you, you may know someone who could line with my business. Because that's honestly how most business owners, you know, network and bring exposure to their traditional business. It's just about, hey, come take a look. If you don't like CrossFit, you might know someone who does. You know, I'm starting out a new real estate company. I'm not, but I'm just using an example. You know, you might not be on the market to buy a home right now, but you may know someone who is. It's the same thing. So what I would do, Hannah, this is what I used to do in my early years, or not my early years, my early months. Like my office was like sticky note central, and it's probably not the most organized way to do it. But I would take the recordings where I'd go, oh, I really liked how so-and-so said this. And I would just take the replay and I would literally like pause, type, pause, type, pause, type. And I would just have these like little scripts, like go-to scripts. I know Lauren paused, she likes to use a note in her phone. And she just puts she has like a little note that says like verbiage or scripts. And I know it sounds like so like cheesy, but let's be honest, like it is a script. Like we're forming how we're going to approach a situation. And then you get to, as you find your confidence, you get to add your own flair to it. which is why I was like the psycho in my office, like saying things over and over again until it sounded like myself, until I felt confident in my words. And so it's all these behind the scenes things where, you know, like none of you guys saw that season, but that's what I had to do. And it seemed like, you know, I would have had to have these like things like in front of me, you know, scripts in front of me, but it was all these little pieces where I was like, oh, I like how this person said this, and I liked how that person said that. And it's just this compound effect until you kind of find your groove and you find your words, and then it becomes this like second nature thing. Just like anything that we do the first time, fitness being one of them. The first day I walked into a CrossFit gym, it was awkward as all heck. I was like, I'll never be able to do, you know, 7 years later, I'm like competing at high levels in Olympic weightlifting. It's just like, I literally thought I would never in my life even be able to do that move. And now, you know, I'm performing it on a national level stage. I mean, it's all the same thing. This business is no different. So grab the replay of this, find these little pockets where you're like, I like that, and just write it down. And through the repetition, and even if you're like, this person said this back, what should I say? Like, that's really where you can screenshot. And there is not a leader in this company who would say, don't text me that. Like, just send a screenshot and say, hey, what would you say to this? And that's when we respond and we go, oh, I would say this. I would say that. Here are some options. And then you reply, and then you start to find your groove, you find your confidence, you find your repetitions. And next thing you know, we're not emotionally tied to the yes or the no. And we're just hyper focused on finding people who are actually genuinely interested. And I've seen the information recently. Late nights or early mornings. Oh man, mom of two, I can't even imagine. Colton's really busy right now. So yeah, you're the real MVP, Hannah. Guys, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. So I know we spent a lot of time on that action sheet and we kind of built it backwards. But whether you use this physical sheet as kind of like your note of just like, these are new relationship, these are people I'm getting to know, or your master list of who's in your network, because it's important to have a database and not just using your Facebook friend list or using your cell phone contacts, but actually truly saying, okay, who are people that I've even recently, you know, started to build rapport. This action page becomes, it's just a funnel for those connections to then go, oh, we have this connection. It's primed for a peak or exposure where you can truly honor the person and not make it weird. You have an organized place to know what events you're focused in. You don't have to have a list of 20 events in a week. You just need a few, one or two, and then recordings can do the work. So just get organized. You can even print out multiple of these and do it once a week. Use it as your organization sheet. I know for my power hours, I'm going to use this action sheet a lot. So you guys, I would just print it if you hop on a lot of my calls. I'm sure many other leaders will use something, or I know the system is this, so you could use this even if you're, you know, following along and doing it at your own pace. But shake hands, get to know people, and just have a little blueprint of this funnel of invite Class A prospects. And then I'm telling you, with the right follow-ups, and we'll be able to teach you how to bump them to that next exposure and that connection to someone in the support team, it will produce an enrollment. It 100% will. There's people on this call who are like, I will never recruit anyone, because they are following the system and they connect to a support team outside of them. They are enrolling, and they've enrolled high numbers in 2021. So that would be my last thing. If you don't feel like you are getting that Class A prospect enrolled, you're probably working really, really hard. The easiest thing you can do is trust the process of connecting. Hey, I'm no expert in that product that you really, really like. I will still say this. I am no expert in the comp plan. I mean, I know it pretty well, but gosh, the person you really need to talk to is my girl, Bridget. She's taught me everything I know. She's someone I trust. I want you to get your questions answered by the best source. Hey, I want you to get your questions answered by the best source. That is like the most value added connection to where the prospect goes, oh, okay, cool. Like rarely are they going to go, oh, this is weird. That might be like a 1% or a 2%, but truly the masses will go, okay, sure. Yeah, let's talk to Bridget, especially if you're like, gosh, she's taught me everything I know. She's helped so many people with those products. She's someone I trust. She's been with the company for 4 years. She's sat on councils and boards and knows the owners. Like she's the person you want to talk to. If you edify who you're connecting with and say why you trust them and why you want to introduce them to, or introduce the person to them, it becomes really, really simple. And then the conversation is off you and they get to do all the work. They get to ask all the questions. They get to say, hey, if you have no more questions on the business, do you want to get started? And can we map out making you some money? You don't even have to ask that. And guess what? They will enroll faster. I promise you, they will enroll so much faster. So I'm just reading this. That's amazing, Leslie. Congrats. Welcome to Q. And man, we've had a lot of products do a lot of amazing things. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see. I would definitely, if you haven't gotten on that Q core, I would for sure get your hands on that. Perfect, Mindy. Yes. And I'll stop recording now, just as I'm kind of like rolling through comments. If I could find that. How do you not record? Oh, stop.